What's going on, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to Monday Motivation, and I'm super pumped for this one. It's been a big weekend, I'll be honest, and thank God it's Monday. Let's get into this. We've had a manic weekend. I did something today over the weekend, which I don't normally do. It was a stag party, and I tell you what, when you don't drink often, it hits you for six when you are drinking. It really does. And I've noticed my energy level's different, and I noticed straight away my sleep. The biggest thing for me is sleep. For most people, it's sleep. So when you lose that, the little angry man can start to creep in. But we're in check. And I suppose today, having Monday motivation is going to, realize that I've gone through a bit of a storm over the weekend and how I am today and what I've done to get back on the horse, essentially. And I'm going to talk you a few things. And the biggest thing we're going to talk about today is what I wish I knew when I felt lost. And this is going to A, inspire you, B, make you realize you're not stuck, you're just in out of alignment, and more importantly, it's going to make you realize that what I went through, how I got out of it, and what is a daily ritual you've got to catch yourself doing in order to be continuously working on yourself. Because self-development isn't just a one and done shop. Self-development is a continuous daily habit. People sometimes get fixated on the instant new world of doing it and the motivation of new habits, change, feeling slightly better. And then once motivation wears off, they start to go back into old habits. That bad habit starts to creep in. Those good habits start to fade and you start slipping. Well, the reality is self-development is a journey that's not reliant on motivation. It's a longevity of daily positive habits which are instilled in the subconscious and are stuck in you like brushing your teeth, like driving a car. So today we're going to go through a few things. It's going to get ugly before it gets beautiful. And I am a carbon copy of that. So I'm going to share you stuff. So what we've got fan questions today. So from our patron members, which we deeply appreciate, shout out to all you guys and girls who have become a member. We are super, super grateful at the Walks Only podcast. And you guys have provided some questions. And I really appreciate this. Might have to get the tissues out for this one though, but we'll give it a go. So 7 questions, like I said. And the 7 questions are, let's roll them up. So number 1, what was your lowest moment and how did it truly feel behind the scenes? Lowest moment. Lowest moment for me was the 3rd knee reconstruction, and I got told just before the surgery, look, we can't promise that we're going to do the reconstruction in this surgery right now, because once we go into your knee, there's 2 pre-existing holes in your tibia and into your fibula where the old reconstruction's been. So when we go in there, we can only find out then. So it'd either be a clean out and we'll have to wait another 6 months and then have surgery, or we're going to do the surgery right now. And I remember going into the surgery, waking up, being super optimistic of hopefully I get the reconstruction done. And they told me after the surgery, you're not going to have the reconstruction done. What we done was break your patella and then fill in the 2 pre-existing holes in the tibia and the fibula. And we're going to have to wait 6 months essentially for those holes, which we broke and used the patella bone to kind of mold a bit like a filling. Making sure that's super concrete and solid in there. And then we'll do the reconstruction. So I kind of woke up really depleted and had to be in hospital for 4 or 5 days because of everything. And I was just lost, extremely lost. And I just felt alone. That was the hardest part about it all. I just felt alone. No one was there. I had to get my own taxi home after it on crutches, slide into the back of the car and get myself home. And I just, in Australia on my own, like I said, but I pushed so much away. I pushed partner away. I pushed anything, which is, I suppose, when you're in those situations, you're in fight or flight. And I definitely flew. That was my way of dealing with things, was flowing away from it. And it definitely made it harder for me. But I just try to take control of myself and not rely on anyone. And yeah, I suppose it's a bad habit, real bad habit, but that's where I was in my life then. It was tough. It was really tough. And I was stuck. I was lost. I didn't know where the solutions were. And it made me realize that I need help. I need help. I need to sort of figure this out. I need to put rugby to the side and start to like not rely on my happiness in sport. I had to rely on my happiness in myself and where that was coming from. And that was really just building a solid base. And recently I've probably realized that more in myself, of instead of fixating or getting onto something as your core happiness, it's more about building a solid base, learning to go slow instead of fast, learning to be aware more and more. And the more work you do on yourself, the more awareness you come to everything. So that's how I felt behind the scene, was just trying to deal with those emotions, going home, resting up, and then like kind of ignoring what I was feeling and just keeping myself busy, being a busy idiot, as I say to people now, not really sitting with those things. So yeah, that was really more how I dealt with it. And then just getting clear on like what are habits that I could do. So then I started like listening to podcasts, reading books, really implementing simple habits, not like, oh, this habit is good for the gym, for rugby. It was just not like, this habit is good for me. So that was the building blocks to get out of that. But it was really tough. And I always say this, so I never thought about, ending my life, as in how I was going to end my life. I just knew I didn't want to be here anymore because of the emotional pain from the rehabs, from my world ending. I look at that now in such a different light, but at that stage of my life, my rugby was my everything. That was my world. So when that ended, I just thought, I don't want to be here anymore, because I don't think I'm going to find any form of contentment or happiness elsewhere. But I'm emphasizing right now, I am the carbon copy of the journey of, you'll find more happiness outside of that than I've ever had in my life, as in outside of sport and what I'm doing today. But this journey started, 6-7 years ago. This wasn't an overnight thing. The journey is willing to step into the discomfort. So question 2, when did you first realize your identity was built around performance and not your true self? Probably realized my identity was built around performance when it was unintentionally, but just my dad growing up would always be there watching me play rugby. My mum would. And I remember playing the game, and every time I'd be playing a game, I'd look to Dad. I'd look to him and on the sideline, and he'd kind of give me a thumbs up. And for me, that meant so much. I got my dad's acceptance. And we always want to please our parents, in particular my dad. And then, if I didn't have a good game, it would be no thumb up, essentially. But what I realized was that it was just everything was relied on that. And I even realized then when I played, I even realized when I did the second reconstruction, we were probably 4 or 5 months out from the World Cup. And I was in Australia, and my parents and all my family and people are back home. And I did my ACL, and I was shattered, knowing that it's a 9-month minimum, 9-month recovery at that for myself then. And I remember I called Mum, and I said, Mum, I'm gutted, I've done my ACL, I'm out. And she didn't say, how are you? She just said, does that not mean you can't play in the World Cup? And it shattered me. And she didn't mean to do it. She was just, just ask the question. But at that stage, I just wanted someone to be like, are you okay? And the fact that I talk about it now is probably a fact that it hit the nerve. And I kind of thought, my only liked for this? Am I only good for this? Am I okay without this? And it made me realize when I go through these gaps of not playing sports, because the reality is when you play sports, it's a common theme. People come up to you and talk to you and they're like, how's rugby? How's rugby? Or how's this? Because your identity, and it's an easy conversation is to ask that question. But then you realize that, am I liked for me? And it was tough. It was really tough. And the reflection moments for me out now, looking back, was that was never the case. I'm loved for so much more. But it made you have these moments of dips. And the dips got even harder because it was 3 knee reconstructions, and then it was 8 surgeries on the knee, and every surgery on the knee you're off for a delay, and then it was an ankle surgery, and then it was another ankle surgery, and then it was a hand surgery, and every time you're not playing the game, you just felt empty. And it was as if sports was like the pill. It was like a magic pill. I was invincible. But then what has happened since then has been the best thing ever, because it took my imagination, my identity away from that. And now I look at myself as the person, Ollie Oles. I'm Ollie. I'm not Ollie the rugby guy. I'm not Ollie this. I'm Ollie. And I'm okay being me without this. And I've noticed this in relationships too. I've noticed that in friendships, in intimate relationships, that I always felt like I had to perform. I always felt like I had to be on. And if I wasn't on, if I didn't make that person happy, if I didn't make that person this, that, and the other, I felt like I was losing. And that then stems into people pleasing. And that's a hard thing to maintain. So the biggest thing that's become out of this is being comfortable with myself. And if you're not true to yourself, well, everything's going to be short-lived. You're going to be found out. You're going to be found out as you can't maintain this. And you got to remember, rugby is just a short-lived part of you. It's a 80-minute game. Life goes on forever. So you got to be comfortable and be true to yourself and what you do. And alignment comes to that. And that's what I coach now in my businesses and working with clients, is becoming true to them and being okay that this is who I am. And if we don't align, that's okay. But I know when I go and put my head down at night that I've been true to myself. That was helping me break the people-pleasing part of me. That was helping me become accepting who I am without validating my parents as a child or in sports. Because Lord knows it wasn't in school. I was shocking in school. But that was the journey. And I'm telling you now, I still get those little moments now and then, but thank God I'm aware of it. Thank God I can sit back and reflect and go, okay, I'm doing that. Catch myself. Awareness. What's going on? What's going on in the body? Breathe into that. And then recognizing, okay, just be true to you. Yeah. It's an interesting one, but you'll get through it. You'll get through it with awareness. You get through it with the right people. You get through it by breaking it down. You get through it with a good coach. When I talk a coach, not a sports coach, I'm on about a coach, a mindset coach. And this is the biggest thing I'm breaking down with a lot of my clients, high performance people, is breaking them down in, you can be successful, you can be a good person, you can be positive, you can be happy while still being you. You get me? Question 3. What did you used to believe about success that was actually making you miserable? I used to think success had to be hard. Now, I'm not denying that you've got to roll your sleeves up at times, but it doesn't essentially have to be breaking you. And I think that would come from sports, though, like, the hard pre-seasons or the training sessions in the week. You always had to push yourself. You always had to prove yourself. You always had to be on. You'd come out sore, you'd come out broken, but then the feeling you'd get from it is the endorphins, the dopamine, and that was a feel-good factors. But that's not sustainable in life or in work or in business. So you have to be more calculating what you do, and you have to be more systematic. You have to have measures in place. You have to put in what's right and what's wrong, what's urgent, what's not. Because if you try and be stubborn, life will break you. Life will make its own mind up, and whether you learn from your mistakes or not is the hardest thing. But I'm grateful that all of these things have happened in my, in my 20s. I'm in my 30s now, but so I'm recognizing them way quicker, because if you don't recognize them, you're just constantly sabotaging yourself. You're constantly making life harder for yourself, and you're drained. You're absolutely drained. You're not you anymore. And the other one was probably having conversations, communicating right, making sure you're doing that. Because if you're not communicating, it's so much harder. So much harder, even with work, even with relationships, even with personal stuff, whatever it is, communicating instead of just trying to be tough and do it on your own all the time. The biggest progress you'll ever get in life is if you're aligned with the right people, doing the right things, and communicating and understanding what they're good at and what you're not good at. Question 4. What small shift do you make that had a massive impact over time? It was probably saying no to things. Saying no to things which weren't needed, and journaling. Oh my gosh, journaling has been the best thing ever. In 2 factors, because when I wrote something down like a goal, when I got it out of here and wrote it down on a paper, the goal and how I'm going to do it and what I want and how I'm going to create this goal and this journey, it happened. It absolutely happened. And on the other aspect of that was whenever I felt overwhelmed, anxious, stressed out, writing these thoughts down made me realize that, geez, I create a lot of shit in my head. Geez, I make stories up. That's not true. Oh, that's anxiety. That's self-doubt. That's fear, but they're not true. I've created these storms in my head. Journaling was a game changer. Growing up, you only thought girls did it. Thank God I did it. And then instead of trying to tough it out on my own, hiring a coach, hiring someone who is already aligned with what I want to do, where I want to go, instead of me trying to be stubborn and figure this out on my own, it was just like, I need that help. Let's do that. Cool. I'm going to pay for that guy's service, and he's going to teach me X, Y, and Z, and it's going to take me to this bracket of my life, whether that was financial goals, if that was a business goal, if that was a personal goal, even down to, me, my background is sports. I wanted to improve my diet. I got a coach. What's the issue with that? I want to improve my well-being. I got a coach. I want to improve my financial income. I got a coach. Isn't that crazy? Or was that just the right thing to do? The biggest thing was out of that was willing to invest financially into these things without fully knowing it was going to work out, as long as I did the work. And then it helped me in all areas. Now I have abundance in all areas. But it's made me change in a positive way in order to get to that place. I had to change the version of myself. I had to let go of bad habits. I had to implement good habits and be consistent. I didn't have to go above and beyond. I just had to be consistent. That's the difference. And question 5, how do you now respond when self-doubt kicks in? Self-doubt kicks in. This actually happened recently. And it was not in goals, it was not in work, it was actually via dating. It was dating. And from past experiences in dating, whether it went bad or good, my body went into a bit of a fear mode because you met someone that you're aligned, but because of old experiences, past experiences of going down a good path and then going into a negative experience, self-doubt kicked in when I had a new interaction with someone, and a part of me was aware of that. A part of me, my body went into this nervous reaction and of like fear, doubt. But how I dealt with that situation was, again, journaling, breathing, speaking to someone that will make sense of this. and just going, okay, giving myself time to break down the dialogue, not making any impulsive decisions. And over time, I was like, yeah, I know this emotion. I'm aware of it. I'm going to breathe through it. And I'm just going to take it step by step. I don't have to go for the Hail Mary. I just have to take one step in front of the other. And that has helped me in business. That's helped me in friendships, relationships, personal growth, everything. But I have to be aware of that instead of keeping myself busy to avoid it. Because when we start to avoid it, which a lot of people do, we put our head into the sand and ignore it and think it's going to pass. It's not going to pass. It'll come back and it'll double down on you. So if you don't break it down there and then, expect this to crop up in the next month or the next week or the next, whatever it is, the year. It'll come back, but in a bigger wave. So if you don't break it down, if you don't journal it out, if you don't breathe through it, if you don't have the right techniques, calm your nervous system, expect this to come hotter at you again. And then if you didn't think you could handle this one, or you just made it this one, well, that second one that's going to hit you, that second wave will come harder at you. So addressing it now in anything in life, in any part of life, will be beneficial to you. And recognizing that you're in control. Finally, recognizing that you're in control of all of this. No one else is. You're in control of every decision you make. Whether it's a good one or a bad one, you're in control. And you can't point the finger. All you can do from every experience is learn from them. Ask yourself questions. What's positive learning can I take from this negative experience? And you'll find one. You'll find one and you move into the next stage of your life. Question 6. What would you say to the version of yourself that felt lost and scared? I would tell that person, you're going to be okay. You are loved. And you're not loved for anything else but who you are. Yeah. You're not loved by doing this or performing or switching on or becoming this person, the sports person or whatever. You're loved for you. You just had to learn the hard way. And you weren't willing to accept it back then. So God said, hey, you have to learn this way. And now I reflect on it going, you know what was the best thing that ever happened to me was that. I've come out of this such a better person. I'm so much more selfless, so much more gratitude to life. I'm so loving of people. And I'm so loving of myself from that experience. Question 7. Why do you believe every man needs to do the inner work even if they're killing it on the outside? I believe every man needs to do the inner work because it's a sense of purpose as a man. It's your mission as a man or as a woman. It's a mission to reach your potential, to strive for more. Not just be good at one area of life and ignore all areas of your life. Strive for the best health. Strive for the best career. Strive for the best relationship. Don't settle for mediocre. Don't settle for don't settle for average. You're not designed to be average. You're designed to be great. You're designed to reach your potential. You're designed to fulfill your needs and give back. You're designed for so much more. And I just think people have been chewed up and spit out so much that they're defeated. But you're literally one door away from changing it all. You're literally one opportunity from changing your whole life. You're literally one step away from becoming that version of yourself that you need to be. You're literally one opportunity away from removing this emotional damage or pain or chest tightness or head stress or paralyzed feeling. From removing all of that and becoming the version of yourself you truly need to be. You're one step away. And you've got to ask yourself, do you just want to get by in life or do you really want to enjoy life and really thrive? You really want to take life by the bull of the horns, or do you want to just get by? Or do you want to... It's just It's just required. It's just required as a man, whether you're stoic, whether you're a soft, sensitive soul like me. It's designed. You have to lean into your discomforts, because on the other side of discomfort is pure bliss. You're going to have the best loving connection with yourself, with others. You're going to become softer. You're going to become more aligned. You're going to become more confident. But the discomfort you're avoiding is the discomfort you need to lean into to become that version of yourself. I'm telling you, when you get on the other side, it's the best feeling. It's the best feeling. And you just want to tell everyone about it. I did this thing. Oh my God. That tightness in my chest that I've been carrying for years, it's gone. That stress in my forehead that I have every time I wake up in the morning and knowing that I got to get this stuff done at work, it's gone. Work was never the issue. I don't want to leave work anymore. I love work. I changed myself, because what you're feeling in areas of your life is never about the areas of your life. It's the relationship with yourself. So it's a requirement as a man. It's a requirement. So guys, that's my 7 questions. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this. Patreon members who are listening, watching, investing, and becoming a full-fledged fan. We are super grateful for you. If you would like to find out more, please check out the link below. Look on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Ollie_Olds1, and find out how you can become even more involved. We have many events happening right now. We've got our Mindset Master Day at the end of July. We've got our Dry Try charity event in August on the 2nd, I believe, which is a group of 3. So you have to be in a group of 3. This is all in Bridgend running track. We've got that coming down here. So you have to be in a group of 3, and it's a dry try. So it's a ski, bike, and run between the 3. If you have any injuries or any issues, you can, change it, the criteria, so it suits the team, and you can get it completed still, whether you can't do one of those exercises. It's totally fine. All of this is going to be raised for charity. But we have a Mindset Mastery course in July. Lads and Men's Day coming up in September, a Ladies' Day coming up in September, and we've got another big announcement happening as well. So if you want to be a part of this, inquire, reach out, and we'd love to have you on board, a part of this journey with us. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I hope these 7 questions have inspired you. And if you want to become a part of the Alpha Reset program as a member and one of my private coaching clients, simply just send me a message and we'll get you onboarded. Let's